Are you ever going to get a G-Shock, McMahon? I don't know. I like G-Shocks. Today I want to talk about G-Shocks, why you might want to get one, why you might not want to get one, why I probably won't get one, not because I don't like them. I will explain that where my collection is right now, getting one would probably create a condition of watch bloat. That is a term I want to talk about today. But let's just begin with the G-Shock. My G-Shock experience. Most of us have had a G-Shock experience. It's a huge marketing success. The owner of Watch City says he sells mostly G-Shocks. He showed me his inventory room in the back. It's just filled with G-Shock boxes. To me, it's a pretty amazing marketing campaign. I mean, they are pretty much plastic watches with some good technology in them. They've marketed them as being tough. I've had some problems with them myself. I've bought about 3 of them, and they've always looked pretty, good enough. I gave them away. I gave them to my wife's cousin. Don't like the plastic, number 1. I don't like digital, number 2. I don't like that everyone's wearing them, walking around the metropolis, a bunch of androids and zombies. I don't like the fact that there's no super luminova. You got to touch a button and light it up with the battery. Most lack sapphire. Most have a very long learning curve. You're consulting the manual for every maneuver you do on it. And few offer a stainless steel bracelet. Now, these problems, if you don't like those specs, there are some G-Shocks that you can get. What are they? $700-800. And I've got one right here. They're called the MTG S1000 series. There's a black one and a silver one. Obviously, I have the black one here. They are analog. They have sapphire. They don't feature plastic. The bracelets are curious. They're largely stainless steel, but they're integrated with a composite. So I don't know what you would call that type of a hybrid bracelet. From what I read, they're supposed to have good lume. And so, it's funny how I was thinking about this black watch and how much I like it, and then I put the brakes on it, and it made me think of a totally different or a related watch topic, but something completely different than just going off on G-Shocks. And before I talk about that, let me show you. Here's the silver one. I like the black one better. Better photo. And I can't get this G-Shock, and here's why I can't get it. I already have a watch that fills that niche. This is the black Citizen ProMaster Sky. I got to thinking, you can't buy watches that are going to create redundancy in your collection. And that got me to thinking that there's a condition that too many of us have. If you're a watch obsessive and you're on the internet, you are in a candy store and you want to buy all the candy you see. And what happens is you go into a condition that I call watch bloat. And watch bloat is when the number of watches in your collection exceeds your capacity to enjoy them. I would say the number varies for everyone. Now, if you have tier 3 watches, which is largely my collection, I currently have what I would say 3 tier 2 watches, and I have 6 tier 3s. And for me, it would appear that the sweet spot is in the single digits, 9, possibly 10, and I would say typically the smaller the better. Now, if you have tier 4 watches, you're going to do fine with a collection of 3 to 5. So the higher the tier, the fewer the watches. Now, there are some distinguishing characteristics of watch bloat that I will share with you, and believe me, you don't want watch bloat. It will cost you a pretty penny, and I'll explain why. First of all, if you have beautiful watches just sitting in your watch boxes left unattended, suffering from watch neglect, that's a pretty sure sign of watch bloat. Johnny Casual had a video talking about timing and watch acclimation, and he said, if you don't wear a watch, you're going to become blind to its appeal, and you're going to sell it, and you're going to regret selling it, you're going to rebuy it. And let me tell you from experience, that's very costly. And so the second condition of this watch bloat is that you're blind to the beauty of the watch that caught your attention in the first place because you're not wearing it. 3 You're not managing your watches. You're not keeping them shaken if they're automatic. You're not changing the batteries if they're quartz. They're dusty, they're dirty, they're disgusting looking. These are all signs of watch bloat. You got to get rid of your watches and you got to stop buying. So, to me, I would want to encourage people to get rid of their watch bloat by becoming what I would call, perhaps tongue-in-cheek, I don't know, I'll leave it up to you, a watch ninja. Now, a watch ninja, if you want to be one, number one, you never buy watches to impress or seek the approval of others. You don't create a YouTube watch channel and then buy watches because all your subscribers' comments encourage you to buy a certain watch. You can't go there. That's going to bring you down the land of watch bloat, and you will never be a watch ninja. A watch ninja always delays gratification. In other words, if you get wowed by a watch, you need to make sure you go through the cool off period, because sometimes a watch is very appealing initially and then boom, you just crash and you don't even know why you liked it. So you want to make sure you give yourself the opportunity to go through a cool off period before you start pulling the trigger on some of these watches. A watch ninja tends, and I don't want to be dogmatic about this, but he tends to sell off lower tier watches to fund higher tier ones as his collection gets smaller and smaller. And to me, I'm in a position now where I have 9 watches, 6 of them are tier 3, and some people will say, McMahon, you need to sell those 6 tier 3 watches and buy 1 tier 4. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. Maybe that will happen in 2 years. Maybe I'll just feel that I can't enjoy my tier 3s anymore and I'll have to do that. We will see, but I don't have a dogma for that. Some of you are comfortable having 6 tier 3s and you don't want to go to tier 4. It's up to you. I'm not dogmatic about it, but to me, if your collection is 3 to 9 watches, you're in the sweet spot. Obviously, if you have 3, you probably have tier 4s or up. The other thing you want to look at is context. As you know, I was enjoying looking at that black G-Shock with the sapphire and everything. But then, as you can see on the screen here, I have a black Citizen ProMaster Sky with sapphire. And it already fulfills that niche. And so in my collection, I don't want redundancy. I want diversity. I want different types of categories and niches being filled, but I don't want to repeat a watch. And I just think there's too many close points in those 2 black watches. I think this one fulfills the niche quite nicely. Granted, this one's 44 millimeters, plays like a 45. The G-Shock is considerably bigger. I think it's over 50 millimeters, but believe me, I have enough big watches. I've got a Seiko SRP 655. Believe me, I'm fine with big watches. I've gone through the whole hoopla of having big watches and being the big man on campus, and it's not all that it's cracked up to be. I don't think I need another big watch. Now, if you want to be a watch ninja, not only do you look at context, you insist on standards of materials and craftsmanship. Are you buying a black watch where the coating easily rubs off after 1 week? Are you buying a watch with cheap mineral crystal? Is there subpar lume? Does the bracelet rattle and feel hollow? Is there a cheap clasp? Unacceptable. A watch ninja would never settle for something like that. If you're a watch ninja, you have to find other passions, because otherwise, you know this from your experience, I know it from mine, your watch obsession can take over and it can really twist your reasoning and perspective. You got to get the hell out of the house, you got to run, you got to work out, you got to go out to wherever. Also, one of our members of the watch community, TGV, of the Urban Gentry, as I make this video, he is having an operation. We wish him the best, and it's health, things like that make us think of what's really important. A watch ninja never lets his watch obsession take over. Finally, a watch ninja is always tending to streamline his collection, or at the very least, keep his collection within the sweet spot. He never ventures into watch bloat. Now, do not confuse being a generic watch ninja with a master watch ninja. I don't even know if I should go into this. This could be an entirely different video. But a master watch ninja hasn't even bought a watch in over 10 years. He's zenned out. He's bought everything in his mind and in his imagination. He's been through the ups and downs in his imagination. He doesn't even go through the ups and downs emotionally of watches anymore. He's sort of this even-keeled encyclopedia of watch knowledge. He tends to have 1 or 2 watches in his collection, a luxury and a beater, and that's it. By the way, the master watch ninja, he doesn't even go on YouTube channels. He's not watching my video. He doesn't even care what I'm saying right now. Unbelievable. As I told you, he does not get emotional in the presence of watches. He's very poker-faced, as all of his watch community obsessives gaggle and cackle and guffaw over watches. He's the silent one in the background. He tends to scoff at experimental watch designs, but he is secure enough in his own tastes not to be a watch dogmatist, because he does not feel threatened by people whose tastes are different than his own. There are probably other qualities of the master watch ninja that we could discuss at another time. I've not met one yet, but I've just thought about it. I think one exists. And if you are one, you're probably not watching this video, so you probably won't even have the opportunity to give me some feedback on this idea of the master watch ninja. In any event, don't think I'll be getting a G-Shock. Love them, but just don't fit in my collection. That's one of the boundaries of life. You can't get everything. You can't go into the candy store and get every piece of candy there is. You got to be selective. You got to be a grown-up. And that's my message for the day. Best to all.